All right, guys, welcome back to Beautiful Mind. If you're new here, I'm Roland Attenborough. I'm the leading GAN scientific and analytical researcher. Today, we're going to be discussing, well, more importantly, what's been happening over the year and what we can expect here because we've had these small percentage level pullbacks, and we're going to take a look at that. And so, for right now, we're only at 11, just 11% level, and right now, that doesn't represent, you know, an unnatural pullback. We've had these 4% right here. Okay, so these have been our sort of normal ones in this segment here. However, we've had this one here, which is about 13% as well. And we haven't violated that further. And looking back, as you know, from this January top right here, we were expecting, no more than a 21%. And sure enough, because this has been our normal percentage level, just looking at pulling back to these levels here, it's 21%. And, from this top area, right, we're talking 21%. And sorry about that, we haven't really violated these areas, right? And here's our 21 and 22% from there. So, right now, we would need to violate this 22%, and we would need to hold below that. And what would that look like here? Well, let's just get this as close as we can. 21% would take us to 57, 58. And can that happen? I mean, we could certainly bounce down here and still be in a terrific bull market, just like this move here, and just like this move here, and this move, and this move. We haven't violated these percentage levels. So until we have, in fact, violated this, meaning we've come below and we've pushed up against, and we've shown some weakness at our old bottom here by coming back up and not getting above this, that would signal maybe a good change in trend. However, it would just be a notice that something is happening and it's possible we could be expecting more volatility. However, holding above this area, and note on our tool here, this halfway point, this red bar has sat exactly on this first swing at 11%. So this is stating we're at the halfway point of the square for percentage levels for pullbacks. Staying above this would indicate immediate and great strength, and I'm expecting that we could just do that. And I've given you a couple of dates into the future as to when to look for some tops here, and we're going to also look at that on the square 9 here, the same way we did our sidereal bottom. So I'm going to do another tutorial where we find these tops right here and move them all forward. All right, so getting back to where we are with our measuring tool, 21%. All right, this is here, and this is sitting on our old swing bottom. So if we are to stay above this area, then we'll be moving up. And I would suspect that somewhere around this early 20 period here, we could see something up to around this area here. And certainly into April here, it's possible and likely we could stall out at 105. And why do I kind of think that in that? Well, looking at this, hopefully you're not on your cell phone, but if you are, 69's right here. Here's 106,000. This is right in line with our old bottoms and our old tops. Okay, so this is how we use these tools. All right. And I further will teach you how to find tops and bottoms based on this square right here. And I teach all this. However, I'm looking at doing some really short and more step-by-step training. A lot of people have, stumbled upon this tool and they're trying to figure it out and use it. And sometimes it can be difficult to take on new concepts. So I'm going to look into the future here and do some really slow paced, step by step programming for understanding how to use this enigmatic tool. And, I've got it set up here on September 11th. This is right here. You can see there's September 11th, which is the 18th of degree of Virgo, where we made our bottom. The sun has just passed over the 180 point where we've just made our top. Everyone's in euphoria because here's Neptune. We're just about to make a major conjunction here. So I do teach about these things as well. We haven't been going into so much the astrology part of each planet and what it does do to you or whatnot. But we're starting to see the effects of, when we cross over this planet here, and I've been talking about that in my ephemeris. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just take a look at this. This is March, and we're talking about Saturn here. Saturn, on the 10th here, the moon came around, and we had a conjunction here. And as you guys know, we've been having these tops, and I'm expecting that we're going to get these swing bottoms here, and it's doing the same things. It's just repeating, right? We make these little swing bottoms, and then we make this great big swing top. And again, this happened when the sun came around. We were pushing up, right, to the 69,000. And our next one is right here on the 22nd, right? This is when Venus is going to smack right into Saturn, right? These two, right? This Venus is gonna just slam right into the timekeeper. And our last one in this segment of fast moving planets to contact Saturn won't be till April, when I said that I think that that's the next topping period when Mars comes in and smokes. That's right. Saturn, timekeeper, right? Gonna have a bunch of major BS there, right? So pay attention to that. And also note that, I look at the moon's nodes. This guy, the north node right here, sitting in April, right? And we're gonna have a crossover, and that's what all the green marks are. So, and we have our first one back here, right, which is going to be on the 19th, right? And you can see it. Mercury is just about there. It's just about to smoke into that, and we're going to have a bunch of change, a bunch of stuff going on. So, it's just a little esoteric stuff, but nonetheless. So that's what's happening. So now looking at that, you can see that we need to continue on with these sequences, right? So we've moved up to the 73 period, and I'm stating that we're going to be in our this low 80s is going to be our next target. 93, and then right up into this 100, right in here. We're going to see something. We're vibrating with these areas, and it's possible and likely if we could get higher. It's totally possible. I mean, we have a lot of crazy things happening here, right? Your house, you think it's gone up in value, but your house poor. The government's about to take it back. What's the most successful thing you've ever seen other than gold? And they confiscated all that. And look at it, it's at $2,000 right now. Pretty soon it's going to be 20 grand. So Bitcoin is really successful. At 70,000 right now. What do you know that's grown to 70,000 in 12 years? That's a digital thing and you didn't understand about it. And here we are. Right? Proof of work. That's what that is, not a proof of stake system. All these coins and everything they're getting you to AI mine and all that, they're all tokens. They're all part of the ERC 20, It's not a Shaw 256. I'm not sure if you understand what all that is, but I'm a computer coder. I understand a bunch of this stuff. So, I mean, I'm not a pro, but I am learning and teaching myself. I'm an autodictate. And I'm always open to learning more and new different things. That's what I do. I'm like a sponge. So, looking at what we're talking about here at our 72,000, a move back of 21% would bring us back to this 57, 58 level on the square. So, that's probably an area where we could get a lot of resistance. Okay. And if I turn this now to make it exactly as the octaves would work, you can see, right? We're up at this is a major point here where we're at this top, right? Right? We're 73 weeks basically from our top, or sorry, from our all time low at 15,000. You know, this all this stuff means something. So, okay, so now we've talked about the square and some of our levels and stuff like that. We're just going to make Mr. Gann a little smaller here. If you want to buy one of these tools, feel free to email me, hit me up, um, whatever you want. I'll just make that a little bigger so you can see it for a sec. All right, this is my channel. This is me, and you can text me. You can email me. You can go to my link below, and you can find out about this enigmatic tool and the teaching side that I do. All right, so looking at that, you can see the year now. What have we done in percentage level? This is such an amazing year. We've moved into our bull market, and I'm going to show you some other things. So we're up 385%, and or sorry, 373% or thereabout therein. Note the center of our bar came up on our July when I warned you that something weird was up and that we would have a bottom around the 26th of August. Any of you that's been paying attention and bought Bitcoin, I am just so grateful that you were listening to these things. Like, we were talking about this October 6th to the 16th, where this was going to bring us into a really major change. And I really hope that you guys jumped on that and never sell the winner to buy the loser. Never. Don't sell Bitcoin to buy Binance. Never sell the winner to buy the loser. Never. Not that I'm saying Binance is a loser. I'm just using it as a reference. And I'm talking about any token, right? They're all tokens except for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a coin. It's an asset. It's not controlled by the SEC. It's not a security. It's not a token. So it has real value, right? Which is why it's so successful. And it's like nothing else is worth 70 grand right now, right? Find me a coin that's worth 70 grand. Nothing. All right. So moving forward with that, we can see we are in a bull market. We've met our top area, right? We're like 70 odd weeks into our movement here, and it looks like we're about to experience a little bit of, we're about to experience a lot of volatility here. And, if you guys have been watching this closely, you know that we've been pushing up against a lot of these areas here, and we're we're reclaiming these tops right here, and there is a heck of a lot of overhead resistance and support here. So if we were to get above this and sit on this, like Mr. Gann states, we will start to enter what he calls the third section of a market campaign. And I've shown you this in many of my books. This one particularly is the book I'm discussing right here. And in it here, he is discussing the sections of a market. And just bear with me until I find it. Okay, guys, I'm going to make this a little bigger so that you can understand what I'm talking about, because I just I shoot facts, and that's it. That's all we do here. So I'm going to make this a little bigger. If you're on your phone, I'm apologizing for the fact that I can't make this much bigger. But with a third section of a bull market campaign, and these are his rules on how to make money, profits in commodities. Okay, this is his form reading. Okay, so we've covered the first two sections of this market, and we've lifted above. And the third section of a bull market is an advance to a new high for the move, and that means getting above our all-time high. And in many cases, this means the end of the campaign, but you must watch for a definite indication before deciding that the third run up means a change in the main trend. So we could move into a fourth section. He says that, often a fourth section runs out into this fourth move, and it's really important. He's saying to watch for the end of a bull market and a change in trend. So what he's talking about here is once we break above 69, okay, so we're going to get away from the form rules and whatnot. This is what William Gann states. This is his work. I follow all his work. I have every single one of his books and his courses, and I'm a devoted researcher. Okay, let's just move this down, and we're going to just go and talk about this real quick. Let's move this guy right out of the way here. Okay, so our first section of this market, right? We came up, we blasted to our old tops, and we sat down here and moved up. And this indicated our first section, right? Moving all the way up. And our second section, after moving up to our high here, started in here from a new bottom, just like this one, right? We went up, we tested this area, sat down, right? So we went up, we tested this area a second time and failed. Came back down, and here we are back at our old bottom. So this is section two. And section two runs really from the breakout of this section, right? And it runs all the way up. Even though we had a hiccup here, it runs up to here. And this is where section two ends. We would have to have a bottom somewhere in here, or jump above and have a bottom here, and then third section starts and we run up and we make top somewhere. Okay, so this is a conservative forecasting approach. Let's now go take a look at how many weeks it is, because oh, sorry, I got my counter right here. Let's right, how many weeks are we? Right, we're 70 weeks. What's the price right now? Well, it's 70,000 basically. Okay, so let's just put this tool on here. Let's go take a look at it and analyze it. Now, I've taught you in many tutorials beforehand. This is probably one of the most important measuring and forecasting tool is this counter. Okay, this counter tells you so much stuff. And using the center point of this square, you can see the gravity center right here. I mean, it's not hard to see, guys. Right? And staying above the 61.8% level here, right? Really at the 75 nearly. This got really strong. And we've moved up really strong. So this is stating to me that we are in for either a break above and a sit down, or possibly a good pullback here. And like I said, if we don't break below this 57, 58, this 21% level here, then for sure we're up to here, guys. Like, it's just, that's in the cards. If this continues and we sit on this, this is a really strong point. If we sit on this, it'll be most likely we'll be bouncing off of this, maybe a few times into this year. But if we were to get below and not be able to get above this area, If we were to do any of that kind of stuff, then that would really determine that we would have a lot of weakness and we would definitely be pulling back and retesting these areas. There would just be no question. If we can't make it back above this and suffer a reaction in here, you bet. I'm I'm a bad news bears at the best of times, guys, and I'm always watching out for the next takeout. There's so many fake outs in this. So this is why I do all this analytical research. I'm looking to protect my investment, and that's certainly what I'm doing. You know, and I hope you're doing the same thing. I trust that you're working hard at trying to figure these things out. Everything is in a very daunting world right now where everyone's about to lose their property and stuff. Anyhow, mine Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin, don't buy ETFs, don't buy ERC 20 coins, don't buy any of this stuff. They're all tokenized. The government can turn it on and take it. Bitcoin, I know they're trying to come for your Bitcoin, but it's a private wallet between you and someone else. So it's not the government's business, in my opinion. Your wealth is your wealth, and you're entitled to that. Just like these people figure that they're entitled to your wealth, right? Yeah. Anyways, I know I kind of rant a little bit, but Bitcoin's the most successful thing. I mean, come on, guys. Nothing else is this successful. After 70 weeks, we are at our old top. I mean, this is historic. This is the kind of stuff Mr. Gann was in fact looking for. And our year is going to get even crazier too. Like we have, later in the year, we have in May, right down here. I don't know if you can see all this, but you know, we have we have Jupiter right here. And my other piece is falling off. I got to go find where that piece went. Anyways, that's Uranus right there at 20 degrees. That represents major transformation. And anyone not understanding that, well, let's go. Let's have a quick look at what that means. Because if you just flip to right, flip to page 84 of Tunnel Through the Air, right? Cycles of transportation start, and that's Uranus. Uranus is this symbol. It's not on here right now. It just fell off somewhere on the floor while I was doing some things. And this is how we find these changes. So what's going to happen is these planets here that are moving around right now. Okay, these planets, when they come around, they're going to be contacting Neptune. They're going to be contacting our node, our north node. That's a big one, right? And then here we go. We have Jupiter sitting here, and Uranus is sitting right here, but it fell off. I didn't go look for it right now, but it's supposed to be right here at 20 degrees. And the moon is just passed over that. So it looks like we're about to have a little correction here, and it should finish up. And with that in mind, I'm expecting that we're going to have, another few more moves. Okay, so let's go take a look at the daily chart again, and let's go do some forecasting based on the last 3 years of Bitcoin's movement, and let's just see if it would be relative to anything we're seeing. So, okay, let's go take a look at just this last year. Let's go take a look what happened around our January to this March, April, and we're just going to copy them, and then we're going to take a look at how they would relate to us. So let's just say we're taking, I guess we could take our January bottom because that's pretty much where we had our major bottom. So, and we'll just run it out here. We'll just run it out to here for now. So this is our first sequence, and I'm just going to show you what we're talking about here. We're just going to compare cycles. So this is the first 1 year cycle, and we're just going to line it up, and we're going to be like, okay, this was our, you know, this was our beginning. So we're going to measure it on our beginning. What will that mean? Well, we're going to take this and we're going to plot it right there. And now, guys, we're just taking what happened last year. We're just looking for, is there a similarity in the fluctuations? We're not looking for the same amplitude, but we're looking for, did we have tops and bottoms around the sort of same areas? Did we have these melt up and tops? Did we have a channel? Did we have a topping period? We had a move down, but this one decoupled, right? And this one moved down. Okay, we're about to see something go on here where we're going to have a snap up. And as you can see now, right? Top, vicious move back. You have these wicks. Just because we don't have the amplitude and they're moving back doesn't mean we're having the same thing to occur. So from here, do I expect that we're going to see something happen into this? It's possible and likely. We have a little move back up. Okay, so that's our 1 year. Okay, let's go take a look at our 2 year, and then we're going to see our 3 year. And that's probably going to be a little bit wild. Okay, so let's just go back a little bit now. All right, anybody can do this. You guys should be doing this at home so you can figure out what in the heck is going on, right? Okay, so our last March and April, remember? It's right in here now. So if we just kind of move back from this 23rd period, remember we had our period there. Okay, it's not populating right now. Okay, here we go. So we're going to take this one now. We'll just run it out. We'll just run it out like that, and we'll just bring it over right now before Stormgate gets all crazy and starts flashing. There it is. It's telling me I'm got too many tools and things going on, and it's not really happy with me. And that's all right. So we're going to bring this one out again, and I'm expecting it to flash and do all this stuff. So just looking at this model here, I know I took it back to here and used it, but we're gonna bring that one out to our January period, and we're just gonna see what we could see there when we had that pullback in our January period, and if it's going to be relevant with ours. This is the 2 year, guys. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take a look. We're just looking for timing. We're not looking for the amplitude or the velocity up or down. Okay, so we made a bottom. We had these little tops that we moved in, and notice now we're getting a lot of the same things. We're having a bottoming period, and then we move back up rapidly. We kind of go sideways and have these rapid moves, and then we bottomed in this cycle, whereas we're topping out a bit here. Okay, that's interesting. So are we done this bottoming phase and we're about to move up into this period here where I was saying, hey, we could have this big bottom and a move up. And our move up, I was saying, would, probably subside around this 14th and anywhere in this period. So this one falls over and rolls over. And, we have a lot of downforce, right? And this would be again, June would also represent a time when we have bottoms, and just like our last year here, right? This was our June bottom right here. Okay, so let's go back further now, and we're going to just go now take a look at the cycle previous to that, which I think we're repeating quite a bit. I mean, we're gonna go take a look at it. Okay, And this one is probably the most relevant to our situation, and I just wanted to look at that. Oh, looks like it didn't populate. 1 second. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh, why doesn't I want to do that? All right. This one here is probably the most relevant to our current cycle. And we're going to go just take a look at all that right now. And this one is probably the most definitive in the fact what we are actually doing right now. It seems to be the most similar in proximity. And just 1 second while we line all this up and get a logical determination of what we can expect to see based upon the movements of the past. And this one seems to be also more relevant in the fact that when we use it, it seems to line up a lot with our price movement. It seems to be quite a bit the same. So we're just going to superimpose that right on top here, and we're going to come down and wait for storm gain to stop flashing. And okay, you guys. So this one is our 3-year cycle going back, and just because we're following the same trajectory as this 3-year doesn't necessarily mean that we will in fact have these pullbacks like I've been saying into this 27-28 on sidereal time and our top around this 14th period. Okay, but it is possible and likely. Now this amplitude here is somewhat similar to our moves. Okay, so we're keeping in mind that our 3-year cycle is looking much more relevant and stronger in a topping fashion, and that our 3-year anniversary top is coming into view, using this model. And we can see that, from here we've had these little wick ups and pullbacks, and then from it just starts to get active again like this, and we make top here right in this period, and then we have this pullback right here, right? It kind of carries on a little bit more in our previous period, but you get the idea that, there's a major change in trend here. And we have these wicks on our current campaign, which are similar, right? And here's our top right here, similar to our older top, right? And then we had all this pullback action, right? Which is what we're having and experiencing right now, which means that we're about to experience a lower top or a higher top, maybe a higher top. And then we're going to have some more volatility near the end of the month. And then a move up and an ending of our cycle here around this period. But it will continue on into this May, which I was talking about here. Well, we're going to get another low and a fake out on May Day. And then from there, we're going to get a rollover here. So let's just be mindful of that. And just because this model is in line with, our trend line, which is more or less our sun trend line on our scale, right? The sun moves at 36, I put degrees or dollars per day. You could do 360 or 3600, but they're way too high on the scales. You'd have to use a 36 and add the octaves of 36, like 72 and 108 and whatever. Anyhow, just because we are following this 3-year cycle much more closely doesn't necessarily mean we will be doing this. So, food for thought. Are we going to have these pullbacks into these areas? Well, I am calling for this in my forecast, and it just seems really likely that we're about to suffer some really major volatility. And if we were to get below this 79,000 here, or the 69,000, it would spell a lot of weakness like this, especially if we did a lower top again, just like this cycle. These are classic takeout moves, and they were warning you. This is a level. It was warning you, right? Look at all this movement through here. It warned you. And the signal came when we broke this bottom, right? You're in a bull market every time you're making higher tops and higher bottoms. You're in a bull market at higher tops, higher bottoms. The first time it breaks these bottoms, it's an indication that the bull market is subsequently having a correction and you should pay attention. And that's precisely and exactly what did happen. So, okay, guys, I went on quite a bit about that. That's our 3-year cycle. Are we going to come back to in and around these areas? Well, it's likely we could experience this kind of stuff. And I'm expecting by August and September, this August and September, we're going to have a serious retest and another top. So just be mindful of that. Doesn't mean we're going to the moon right now. We have this overhead support at this 105. We were discussing this on the square nine, guys, right? Really quickly. That's where we're at, looking at this tool here. All right, there's, I'll make it a little bigger because you're probably on your phone, right? This is what we're talking about, guys. Take a look. All right, there's 69, there's 73, 74, there's 110 out here, but this is my target. Right here. This is my target. Sure, we can blow over that. There's always a lot of lost motion, especially to the downside when we're moving down really fast. Anyways, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that. I'm going to do another one on sidereal time. You know that we were using the I just line this up a little better so that we get it right on to where I was when we were doing our bottoms, saying at 34 days on these black dots. Now I put the other two in there. They're actually these ones from when we were looking back at this campaign here. They're these bottoms right here. Okay, that's what those are. Now the red dots here, these represent where the next tops are. That's all these. So pay attention to my next tutorial where we're going to go through and I catalog these tops here on this tool, just like I've done here. And I'm just going to show you really quickly. We did these black dots for our bottoms. Okay. Now I'm doing the red dots and there's one right here. Yeah, I don't think you can see it very well, but I'm going to show you it. Right. This red dot right here. Okay. That represents the last part of our sequence here, which would be this right here, our 41st or 43rd day right here, right? From our bottom, okay? And I'm going to do my next tutorial about that. So my last tutorial you just watched before this one, we did all our bottoms. Now we're going to do our tops, and I'm going to bring you out into the future and show you two tops in the future coming up that you can look to see where we're going to make a topping area. I'm stating here and here will be exactly what these red dots are going to bring us to. So pay attention to that one. Peace and love, guys.